Okay, very good morning, Lamai.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, so you all are welcome to the next session of the business ethics. So today I have arranged online session. So due to some issues with the physical classroom. So then before that, I need to give some announcement. I think you have already know the online quiz. So I have extended for 1 week. So that means you have the online quiz on 27th. Okay. So you have now enough time to ready for that quiz, and I have included all the guidelines and the other information related to the quiz on your LMS. Okay, LMS page, it's available. If you have any clarification regarding the quiz, so you can contact me or you can ask me during this session. Okay, so it's very easy. So your time is actually um, 9:30 to 10:30. So in this time duration, so you have to attempt this quiz. Okay. So you have 30 minutes to complete this quiz. Okay, so those are the main information. I think you have already familiar these type of quizzes. So that then I am not going to explain these things in detail. Okay, so if you have any further clarification, so you can contact. Okay, so I will share the slides. I hope you can see the slides, no? Okay, so today we are mainly discuss some concept related to the business ethics. So last week we have done the basic part. So that means some models we have discussed. So today we are going to discuss in detail. So how this ethics works in the organizations. Okay. So first of all, I will ask a question. So from you. So
හෙලෝ
what is?
හෙලෝ
Yeah.
කුයිස් එකට අද වෙනකම්ම කරන පාඩම් වලින් එනවද?
ක්විස් එකට මම ඔයාලට කියලා තිබ්බේ ක්විස් එකට corporate governance part එක විතරයි ටෙස්ට් වෙන්නේ කියලා.
හරි සර් thank you.
ethics වලින් අහන්නේ නැහැ. corporate governance වෙනකන් එයා දාලා පාඩම් ටිකට විතරයි.
හරි thank you.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, I need to know what is an ethics. What is ethic? I have explained what is an ethics in last week. So as you understand, if you remember, what is an ethic? Okay, so well, in simple terms, so you have given the answers in last week also. So ethic is a set of rules. Okay, so that helps us to decide what's right and what's wrong. Okay, it's a set of rules. So to help us what's right and what's wrong. So normally we are saying doing the right things. Okay, and also we need to identify what are the wrong things we need. No, we need to identify. Okay, so normally simply so doing the right thing. Okay, so it's the right thing to do. So how to identify is this the right thing to do? මොකද්ද කරන්න ඕන හරි දේ කියලා අපි identify කරන්නේ කොහොමද? Okay, so we have discussed these things in last week also. So imagine, so think about you found a wallet of full money on the road. first act වැටලා තියෙනවා ළමයි පාරේ යනකොට. So normally so you pick it up. Okay. කවුරුත් දකින්නේ නැහැ. ඔයා මේක ගන්නවා. So what would you do? මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? Okay. So an ethical decision so would be to hand it over to the police or try to find the owner. Why? ඒක ඔයා පොලිසියට දෙන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔයා කරන්න ඕන කෙනෙක් ඕනව හොයා ගන්න ඕනේ. Why? Why? Because keeping it may be tempted. Okay. But it's not the right thing to do. So that's ethics at work. Okay. ඒක තමයි අපි ethically behave වෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ. Okay. Okay, now normally we are moving to the business ethics. So meaning you can see the ethic is a set of rules that define right and wrong conduct. Okay, so business ethics can be defined as a written and unwritten code of principles and values that govern decision and action within a company. Okay, in the business world, the organization's culture set standards for determining the difference between good and bad decision-making behavior. Okay, so these things we have discussed. So the business ethic normally goes one level in deeper. So it's about the principles and values that guide decisions and behaviors within a company. Okay, so it's normally about the principles and values. So it will be guide how we need to take the decisions and how we need to behave within a company. Okay, so this can be normally written rules and also sometimes can be unwritten rules. Okay, so we need to talk about the written rules like code of conduct, like code of ethics, so best practices in the issued by Sri Lanka, and also sometimes the HR policies, and also sometimes we can take the anti-corruption guidelines likewise. Okay, so when it comes to the unwritten rules, so like normally what generally accepted in the office culture, කොහොමද අපි normally office එකේ ඉන්න ඕන කියලා කොහොමද generally accepted method එක කොහොමද තියෙනන්නේ ඒ විදිහට කොහොමද හැසිරෙන්නේ, and what employees pick up from the observing their seniors likewise. Okay, so then what is the main role, what is the role of organization culture to cultivate this type of ethical culture in their organization? Huh? So what is the role of the organizational culture? So think about now, here's the most important part here. So in the business world, so you all know the organization culture set a standard for determine what is right and wrong. Okay, so they need to set the standard. So then easily employees can identify what is right and what is wrong. Okay. So think about as an example in the Sri Lankan context. So imagine the local apparel company like Mars or any other companies. So these type of company normally, so they have their management always emphasize the sustainability. I think you know the concept of the sustainability. So, and also they are treating employees fairly and never tolerating bribes. Likewise, so over time, this become part of a company's DNA. So we are saying DNA, and even new employees automatically begins to follow that type of standard. අපේ ඉන්න දැනට ඉන්න employeesලා ඒ විදිහට අදාළ විදිහට ඒ culture එකේ ethically sustainable විදිහට යාලා වැඩ කරගෙන. So it becomes the company's DNA. So that means new employees come to the organization, they also follow these type of ethical behavior in the organization culture. Okay. On the other hand, if leaders themselves blend rules or misuse company resources, that will normally set the bad ethical tone. And also the employees may think it's okay to do the same thing. Okay, then company ke leaders la management එකත් මේ විදිහට resource misuse කරනවා නම් ඒ වගේම bad විදිහට එයාලා company හැසිරෙනවා නම්, so then employees also they are thinking so this is a common way, so it's okay to do the same thing. Likewise. Okay, it's not a good practice. And when it comes to long termism in business, hmm, so what is the meaning of this long termism? And also there is another concept of short termism. So we are going to discuss in both concept today. So, so what is the meaning, really meaning of this one? So imagine you are running a business. Think about you are running a business. Let's say an example of a tea exporting company in Sri Lanka, tea exporting company in Sri Lanka. So you have normally when it's come the tea exporting, so you have think about two options. So you have two options. So what is the first option? Focus on making as much as profit for the possible year. That means this year. Focus on mainly for the profit. So if you are mainly focused on profit in your company, so normally you are mainly doing cutting cost and pushing employees harder to the works, and even if it is means compromising quality or future relationship with buyers, likewise. So if you are mainly focused on the profits, so you are doing these things. And think about if you are mainly focused on building long-term value for your business, so what you are going to do? So if you are mainly focused on building long-term value for your business, so normally you are doing investing for your company, that means in your brand. And if you are doing that means you are normally doing training your employees, training your staff, and ensuring the sustainability in our company, in my business. We have sustainable culture, likewise. So those things you are doing if you are mainly focused on building long-term value. Okay. Now you need to identify if you are mainly focused on profit. That means you are cutting cost, pushing employees into the hard works, likewise. So if you are mainly focused on these type of things, we are saying it as a short termism. Okay, it's a short period of time. But when you are coming to the building your company in the long term value, like investing in a brand, investing your training staff, likewise. So this is coming under the long termism. Okay. Why does this matter for ethics? So why this short termism and long termism is important for organization? That means when it comes to the ethical side, what is the meaning? Think about when a company is focused only on short-term gains, like profit and also the cutting cost likewise. So it often leads to unethical decisions. So what type of unethical decisions we are taking? So like overstating profit. Okay, so we are mainly trying to overstate the profit. Profit වැඩි කරගන්න තමයි අපි හැමදේම කරන්නේ. And also ignoring uh, product safety issues. Okay, so we are ignore. So what type of safety issues on our product? And also sometimes in mistreating our employees just to save for the quarter. Okay, likewise. In here, you can see Warren Buffett has often is stressed on long-term strategies. Okay, so there is a person in the real world example in here, you can see Warren Buffett. So he is one of the richest and most respected investor in the world. Okay, and he always stressed on long-term value creation. Okay, so this person so is a richest and most respected investor, and also he always stressed on long-term value creation. Okay, so he looks for businesses that might grow slowly but sustainability. Okay, so that sustainability should be there. Okay, so business can be grow slowly, but it should be sustainable growth. Uh, and normally he avoids companies that chase after temporary stock market highs. Okay, so those are the things so this person has highlighted. Okay, and also investigation into Fannie Mae. Okay, so and so there is another person. So he has suggested that entire senior management force intensively focused on earning guidance. Okay, so another case is in here. So the person is Fannie Mae. So he is a major US housing finance company. So it's a company. So in here, when regulators investigated them, so they found that the senior management of this company has obsessed with something called earning guidance. So that is normally predicting the delivery, exact the profit numbers that investors expect each quarter. So what's the problem with that? Huh? What's the problem in this scenario? So when you become obsessed with short-term numbers, so you may be tempted to manipulate data. Okay, so if you are mainly focused on short-term numbers, that means short-term profit, short-term cost cutting likewise. So it's normally the employees of the company normally trying to manipulate the data. Okay, so like push unrealistic sales target, like take financial risk just to meet the projections. අපි project කරපු ගාන අපි target ගන්න අපි කරන්න පුළුවන් දේවල් අපි කරනවා. So normally we are manipulate. Huh? So likewise, so and guess what happened no after this type of scenario? So Fannie Mae, so that faced huge financial scandals and lost public trust. Okay, so this company has to face huge financial scandals and also they have lost the public trust. That means the investors' trust. Okay, so if the company has long-term health for the company, so they have sometimes they have sacrifice in today, but the future may be very clear and very straightforward. Okay, so that's the this company has happened in the past. Okay, and also the next thing is capital market orientation of companies force them to temper uh, by short-term targets. Okay, so capital market pressure. So now here's something that's normally a bit tricky, but very real in the business world. Okay, in the companies today are under constant pressure from capital markets. So what we mean by this constant pressure from the capital markets? So the investors and also the sometime analyst and also mainly some stock exchanges like stock brokers. So these group want to see quick returns. So these people need to know so that means the quick returns. Okay, අපිට quickly returns තමයි අපිට බලන්න ඕනේ මේ capital markets වල. Okay, so normally they ask what was your earning this quarter? මේ quarter එකේ earnings කොච්චරද? Why didn't you grow fast enough? ඇයි මේ තරම් ඉක්මනට මේක grow වෙන්නේ නැත්තේ? Why there is a slow growth of the company? Huh? Should we sell your stock? Likewise, so they are asking this type of question. Okay. So and because of this type of pressure, capital market pressure. So normally many companies, even ethical ones, so are tempted to cut corners to meet short-term expectation. Okay. Okay, in here you can see McKinsey survey in 2006 March shows that companies are focused on short-term strategies due to capital market pressures. May capital market pressures නිසා companies try කරනවා short-term strategies වලට. Okay. So in the McKinsey survey in back in 2006 March, so they have revealed this pattern. Okay, so companies said they focus more on quarterly earnings. Okay, instead of making decisions that help their 5 or 10-year future. Okay, so that's the main issues companies are focusing on. Okay. Okay, so there are three models of management of ethics. Okay, so there are three models of management ethics. So we are calling, and also these are three types of management ethics: the moral, and immoral. Okay, I think you can remember these wordings. Those are same. So we need to identify what are these things. What we mean by moral management and immoral management and amoral management. Okay, the moral management, you can see here. What is the meaning of the moral management? So these three models are management, how we are manage ethics. Okay, the moral management. So this is the kind of management we all wish to work under moral managers. So these are people who genuinely care about doing the right things. Okay, so these moral management. So there are people we are saying moral managers. Okay, moral managers. So these people who genuinely care about doing the right things. මේ මිනිස්සු ගොඩක් වෙලාවට හිතන්නේ අපි හරි දේ කරන්න ඕනේ. So they normally consciously follow high ethical standards. Ethically විදියට මෙයාලා වැඩ කරගෙන යනවා. So they don't just avoid doing the wrong things. They actively do the right thing. Okay. For example, think about, so let's say you are working the retail company. So and your product has defect. Okay. So your product has, one of your product has a defect. Okay, so a moral manager, normally they are saying, so let's recall the product and inform the customers immediately. Even it's cost us money. Okay. So if your product has a defect, so they are saying, so let's recall the product and inform to the customer immediately. හරිද දැන් ඔය restaurant එකක් කරන මොකක් හරි deliver එකක් කරාට පස්සේ product එක issue එකක් තිබ්බොත් so you have to recall the product and also immediately, so I have to inform to the customer. So there is a this moral management has works. Okay, so they believe normally transparency should be there and also be fairness should be there and also treating people with respect. Okay, transparency and also the fairness and also you have to treat the people with respect. Okay, whether it's can be customers and also it can be employees and can be environment as well. Okay, we can see in the moral management conform to high standards of ethical behavior. Clear? Then when it comes to immoral management, so you can see here what's the meaning of a style devoid ethical principle and active oppositions to what is ethical. Okay, so this is little bit differ when it's come to the moral management. So this is extremely opposite. So immoral managers don't just ignore ethics. They are don't ignore ethics. Ethics කියන එක අමතක කරන්නේ නැහැ, ignore කරන්නේ නැහැ. They know what's right and also choose to do the wrong things anyway. Huh? So they know what's the right sometimes and they choose to do the wrong things anyway. So this is where normally we see cheating, corruption, deception, and likewise. Okay. So let's say a manager know the අපි කියමු dumping chemical waste to the river. අපි කියන මොනවා හරි production එකේ තියෙන chemical ඒ වගේම garbage. So අපි ඒක ගඟකට දාන එක. So it is illegal and also it's harmful for the entire environment and also entire world. But it still does it to save disposal cost. That's immoral. Huh? අපි ඩිස්පෝස් කරන්න ගියොත් ඒකට වියදමක් යනවා. Okay? ඒ නිසා මේ ටික මෙහෙම අයින් කරනවා. So they know what is right and they are doing the wrong things. හරිද? එයාලා දන්නවා මේක වැරදි කියලා to save their cost or save their earnings. So they are doing this type of wrong thing. Okay? And also think about example of the companies faking their financial reports to show high profits and also attract the investors. This is not ignorance. So this is deliberately misconduct. Okay. So they know this is a wrong thing, but to attract more, that mean reputed investors, to attract high, that mean achieve high profit. So they are doing this type of cheating, cheat works. Likewise. Okay. දැන් හිතන්නම උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ඔයාලා බයික් එකේ හරි වාහනේ හරි වාහනවල ගොඩක් කලාට වෙන්නේ නැහැ බයික් එකේ දුම් පරීක්ෂාව කරන්න යනවා. හරිද? එතකොට ඉකෝ ටෙස්ට් එක ෆේල් වෙනවා. ඕකේ. ඉකෝ ටෙස්ට් එක ෆේල් වෙනවා. එතකොට ඔයා මොකද කරන්නේ? ළඟම තියෙන ගරාජ් එකට ගිහිල්ලා ඒක මොකක් හරි අර කරනවනේ පෙට්‍රල් අඩු වැඩි කරලා හරි මොකක් හරි එකක් කරලා ඒක ආපහු අර ඒ ටෙස්ට් එක කරනකම් හදාගෙන එනවා. So you know what is right. මේ වාහනේ මෙහෙම වෙන්න බෑ. අර එන්ජින් එක රිපෙයාර් කරගන්න ඕනේ. හැබැයි අපි එහෙම කරනවද? නැහැ. අපි කරන්නේ පොඩ්ඩක් ටෙස්ට් එක පාස් කරගන්න අපි කොතෙන්ට හරි ගිහිල්ලා ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් හදාගෙන ඇවිල්ලා ඉකෝ ටෙස්ට් එක කරනවා. Okay? So that is immoral management. So you know this is right, but to pass this test, so you are doing this type of thing. Okay? So you are doing the wrong thing anyway. Okay? So that's the immoral management. And immoral management. So this can be in two types. This can be in two types, intentional and unintentional. Okay. So now this is a bit more suitable and but it is just as dangerous. It's a dangerous management, ethical management, immoral management. So immoral managers don't think about ethics. Okay. They don't think about ethics. මෙයාලා ethics ගැන හිතන්නේ නැහැ. They either intentionally avoid ethical questions and also unintentionally ignore them because they are too focused on other things like profit, deadlines, or performance metrics. Okay. So when it's come to the intentional moral management, so these managers normally saying business is business. මෙහෙම තමයි කට්ටිය කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍ය business එකක් කියන්නේ business එකක්. මේතිස් කියන ඒවා පැත්තකට දාන්න. So මේතිස් කියනවා අපි කියනවා philosophers-ලාට ඒ ටික බලා ගන්න කියන්නේ. අපි business එකක් කරනවා අපේ business එක අපේ business එකේ විදිහට යන්න ඕන. So normally they are thinking they believe so ethics has no place in the business. මේතිස් කියන එක business වලට ඕනේ නැහැ කියලා හිතන්නේ. යාට මේ business එකේ ethics වලට තැනක් නැහැ. Okay, so they think might make decisions that are legally okay but ethically questionable. Likewise. So when it's come to the unintentional immoral management, so these managements are normally they are not evil, but they are just not aware. Okay. සමහරට මෙයාලා මේ ගැන දන්නේ නැහැ. Maybe they never received a training in ethics. ethics ගැන මොන හරි training එකක්වත් හම්බෙලා නැහැ. මොකද්ද හරියට කරන්න ඕනේ මොකද්ද හරිද කියලා එයාට idea එකක් නැහැ. So this is coming under unintentional immoral management. Okay. කලින් එකේදී වෙන්නේ එයාලා දන්නවා මේක මේක ethic එකක්. හැබැයි ඒවා අපේට අදාළ නැහැ කියලා තමයි හිතාගෙන යන වැඩ කරගෙන යන්නේ. But when it's come to unintentional immoral management, so they do not aware about these things. Okay. Maybe they never received training. Or maybe they are so caught up in numbers that they don't realize their decisions are hurting people. හරිද සමහර කට්ටිය නම්බර්ස් එක විතරයි වැඩ කරලා තියෙන්නේ. හරිද මේ කරන ගන්න ඩිසිෂන් එකකින් කරන වැඩකින් වෙන කෙනෙක්ගේ වෙන කෙනෙක්ට හර්ට් වෙනවා කියලා අයිඩියා එකක් නැහැ. So they not aware. They haven't any idea. Like so this is coming under the unintentional immoral management. Huh? So think about an as example. So if we have a project manager, okay, in our company, if we have a project manager, so they are normally try to push employees to the work. Okay, so think about this project management don't consider the overtime without overtime. So he is pushing employees to the work. Huh? So this is not because of they are bad, but because they are focused on only the delivery deadlines. Okay, so project manager haven't an idea, but he need to complete the order, delivery deadlines. Likewise. Okay, so this is our coming under unintentional moral management. Okay, so now we'll take a quick recap regarding the moral managers. So the moral manager do what's right. Okay, they are doing the right things. They lead with the principles and care. And when it's come the immoral manager, so they know right but doing the wrong things anyway. Okay, මෙයාලා මේ වැරදි හරිද කියන දේවල් දන්නවා හැබැයි එයාලා වැරදි දේවල් කරනවා. The moral managers so either ignore ethics intentionally or miss it altogether unintentionally. මේ කට්ටිය එක්කෝ මේ ethics කියන එක ignore කරන එහෙම නැත්නම් එයාලට ඒ ගැන අදහසක් නැහැ. Clear? So this is the three model of management ethics. Okay. I will ask a question from you now. So now let me ask you. So which kind of managers normally do you think is most common in real business life? මොන වගේ managers ලද commonly in the business වල ඉන්නේ? Moral managers or immoral managers or amoral managers? What do you think? In normally most of the business, so we cannot say moral and also we cannot say immoral. The most of the businesses commonly we are saying so most of the organizations are moral managers, so they ignore ethics intentionally sometimes, so they have missed these things. Okay, the this is a general question. So normally we have in the business world the moral managers. Okay, and it's come the ethical side. And now you can see there is a graphical illustration of the developing moral judgment. Why managers behave ethically? Okay. ඇයි managers ලා ethically වැඩ කරන්න ඕන, behave වෙන්න ඕන, හැසිරෙන්න ඕන. So most of us to avoid some punishment. Okay. ගොඩක් අය හිතන්නේ so to avoid punishment and also to receive some reward. Okay. So some managers behave ethically. Huh? So many of us so they have think to be responsive to family, friends, or superiors, and also be to be a good citizen. But very few of us, so we need to think to do what is right, pursue some ideal such as justice. So that is how managers behave ethically. Okay, so why managers behave ethically? ඇයි managers ලා ethically වැඩ කරන්න ඕන? Okay, so this is the way we can develop in the moral judgment. So now you can see how to make the ethical judgment. Okay, so you can see behavior or act that has been committed. So you have to be compared with what is prevailing norms of acceptability. Okay, and then you have to the judge the value judgment and perception of the observer. So this is the way you can make the ethical judgment. What is the meaning of this one? Huh? In here, normally you can see how we actually judge whether a certain behavior is ethical or unethical. Make ethical එකක්ද make unethical එකක්ද කියලා කොහොමද අපි අඳුරගන්නේ? Okay. So you can see in this graph. So there are three parts. So first part is behavior or act that has been committed. What is the meaning of this one? Behavior or act that has been committed. Huh? So first there is a behavior or action. It could be anything someone does like managers firing an employee. A manager firing an employee. A cashier giving the wrong change. Okay. And also the company raising product prices during the crisis. Crisis එකතියදී company එකේ prices වැඩි කරනවා. So this is the starting point. Some action has happened. Okay. And when it's come to compare with previous norms and acceptability, so this is like a second step, next step. So we have to compare with the behavior with what society or the business world consider the acceptable. So this is called prevailing norms. Okay. For example, think about in most cultures. So honesty in financial reporting is considered the norm. අපි financial reporting වලදී honesty අවංක භාවය කියන එක most of the cultures so they are considering. Okay. And also in the professional settings like respecting colleague is expected. කාට respect කරන එක ඒක expect කරනවා. Okay. So if someone break these norms, so we start questioning whether the action is ethical. Okay. කවුරු හරි මේ එකක් break කරනවා නම් so we can ask questions. ඇයි you are make correct? Okay. So as an example, think about the Sri Lankan company like so they pay female employees less than male employees. එහානු කට්ටියට ගෙවනවා පිරිමි කට්ටියට වඩා. Okay. So now you can ask a question. So is this acceptable by today's norms? මේක අපිට acceptableද? Yes, of course not. Why? Society today promote gender equality. Okay, I have told you when it comes to corporate governance as well. So gender equality should be there. Okay, and such a practice would be judged unethical. Huh? That's the thing. And the final thing is, so you have to value judgment and perception of the observer. Okay, so now this is the final and most subjective part. Who is judging the behavior? Who is judging your behavior? The different people may see the same act differently. හරිද? අපි කරන එකම වැඩේ එක එක්කෙනා එක විදිහට දකින්න පුළුවන්. So it's depending on their values. හරිද? දැන් අපි හිතන්න අපි උදාහරණයක් විදිහට අපි දැන් පාර යනකොට අපි කියනවා හිඟන්නෙක් ඉන්නවා සල්ලි ඉල්ලගෙන. අපි කෙනෙක් අපි යාට සල්ලි දෙනවා රුපියල් 20ක්. රුපියල් 100ක්. රුපියල් 50ක් අපි දෙනවා. දුන්නාට පස්සේ ඒක එක එක්කෙනා දකින්න පුළුවන් එක එක විදිහට. Why? Why I am saying like that? Because based on their values, based on their culture, based on their religion, and also even on their personal experiences. තව කෙනෙක් කියනවා ඔය මනුස්සයා හැමදාම මෙතන ඉන්නවා. හරිද? කිසිම අමාරුවක් නැහැ. හරිද? Likewise, so based on their personal experiences, based on their values, based on their culture, likewise. No, it's depending. It is objective. Okay. When it comes to the company side, so think about as an example. So let's say the company gives a big bonus to its CEO by laying off that mean company's staff and also the workers. So investor might say, so that business keep the CEO happy. CEO සතුටු කරලා තියෙනවා. But the social activities so might say that's unethical. You are rewarding the rich and punishing the poor. The rich side of හොඳට සලකනවා අනිත් අයට සලකන්නේ නැහැ. Okay. So your own lens, so your beliefs and morals, so influences how you pursue ethics. Okay. So that's the thing. So that is how we make ethical judgment. Right? So first you have to behave or act as that has been committed, and then you have to compare the prevailing norms and acceptability, and then finally you have to be judge. So what is the right, what is the wrong? Okay, value judgment and perception of the observer. Okay. Okay, so I have told this name previously, Warren Buffett. So one of the world's most respected investors and business leaders. So let's read what he has said. Okay, so I want employees to ask themselves in the brackets you can see when they are in doubt about whether a practical conduct is ethical or not, whether they are willing to have any contempt act appear the next day on the front page of their local paper to be ready to be read by their spouses, children, and friends, uh, with the reporting done by informed and critical reporter. So this from Berkshire Hathaway Code of Ethics. Okay. So now let's break down this and understand the real wisdom behind this. Okay. මොකද්ද මේ කියලා තියෙන කියලා අපි බලමු. Okay. So what Babbat is saying is this: if you are unsure whether something is ethical or not, ඔයාට මොකක් හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා මේක හරිද වැරදිද කියලා. So you are not sure. You are unsure whether something is ethical or not. So just imagine so that your in action will be on the front page of tomorrow's newspaper. ඊළඟ දවසේ පත්තරේ මුල පිටුවට යන්න පුළුවන්. Okay. ඔයාගේ action එක. Okay. And not just that, it will be read by your family. හරිද? ඔයාගේ family එක කියවන්න පුළුවන්. Your spouse, your wife, your husband, and also your children also, and seen by your friends. Okay, like colleagues and maybe your students also, and written by a journalist who knows all the facts and won't hide the truth. Now ask yourself, am I still comfortable doing this? හරිද? දැන් ඔයාලට හිතන්න පුළුවන් මෙන්න මේ වගේ දේවල් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So මම මේවා කරන දේ හරිද? කරන්න හොඳ දෙයක්ද? සුදුසු දෙයක්ද? Okay. If the answer is yes, so you are probably on ethical background. So if the answer is yes, so you are probably on ethical ground. But if the answer is no, so or you feel even slightly uncomfortable, okay? ඒකට answer එක no නම් සහ ඔයාලට මේක uncomfortable නම්, so that's your internal ethics system warning you. Okay? So this is probably not the right thing to do. Okay? එහෙම no කියලා answer එකක් આવුවත් අර මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ මේක කරන්න හොඳ දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. Okay? So this is the thing, the Warren Buffett rule of thumb for ethical conduct. So how we identify the ethical things. Okay. So let's take an example to the business context. Okay. So say you are in the procurement officer in the government institution, and what we say as a supplier, you and a supplier you deal with officers. You an expensive gift or even a small of commission to approve the tender. Tender approve කරලා දුන්නොත් ඔයාලට මොකක් හරි gift එකක් එහෙම නැත්නම් එයාට approve කරලා ගන්න පොඩි commission එකක්. So this is normally practicing in the businesses. Okay. So you might think no one will know. කවුරුත් මේ ගැන දන්නේ නැහැ. So this happens all the time. It's not hurt everyone, anyone. කාටවත් ඒක hurt වෙන්නේ නැහැ. But now apply Warren Buffett test. මෙන්න මේ අපි කතා කරමු මේ ටෙස්ට් එකට apply කරන්න බලන්න මේ scenario එක. What if tomorrow's daily news or other derana headlines read procurement officer accept bribes, supplier gets unfair advantage. Likewise, ඉතින් ඔයා මේ ගත්ත කමිෂන් එක එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔයා ගත්ත මේ gift එක මේ ටෙන්ඩර් එක පාස් කරන දැන් අද ගොඩක් වෙලාවට නිවුස් වල බලන්න පුළුවන් නේ. හරිද? ගවර්න්මන්ට් ඔෆිසර්ස් ලගේ වැඩ කරලා තියෙන වැඩ හරිද? අද දෙරණට යන්න පුළුවන්. අර නිවුස් පේපර්ස් වල හෙඩ්ලයින් වලට. Likewise. So එතකොට කියන්න පුළුවන් මේ වගේ සිටුේෂන් එක and your family names also reads ඊට පස්සේ මොකක් හරි වැරද්දක් වුණාම ළමයි යන්නේ ෆැමිලි එකයි මෙයා මොකද්ද කරපු ඉස්කෝලේ කොහෙද වැඩ කරන්නේ හැමතැනටම මේක වෙන ඉම්පැක්ට් එකක් okay and also your students think about if I am doing a unethical thing so you also read what I have done and our university also see it huh? How would you feel now මට දැන් කොහොමද දැනෙන්න ඕන so I have to imagine the newspaper headline can help guide your decisions in real time. හරිද? ඒතර මට දැනගන්න පුළුවන් මට මේක imagine කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ situation එක මෙහෙම වුණොත් මට මොකද්ද වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Okay, likewise. Okay, I think you can identify this Warren Buffett rule of thumb for the ethical conduct. Okay. Okay, before this slide, so I will share your QR code to mark your attendance. Okay, now you can mark your attendance. I'll give you 5 minutes. Okay, I think hope time is enough. Okay, hope you can see the slides. Okay, the stakeholder versus shareholder. Okay, I think you know the difference between these two parties, stakeholder who is our stakeholder for business and also is our shareholder. Okay, so these two are not same. So you know these things. When it's come to ethical background, so when it's come to shareholder perspective, the shareholders, so those who approach ethical decision making from a shareholder perspective, focus on making decisions that are in owner's best interest. Okay, so if the company is taking a decisions regarding the company, so that decision should be owner's best of interest. The decisions are guided by a need to maximize return on investment for the organization's shareholders. When it comes to stakeholder perspective, the stakeholders may include employees, suppliers, customers, competitors, government agencies, the news media, community, resident, and so on. Okay. The idea behind the stakeholder-based ethical decisions making is to make sound business decisions that work for the good of all affected parties. Okay, so what is the meaning of these two? Huh? What is this shareholder perspective and what is this stakeholder perspective? Huh? The shareholder perspective, they are mainly focused on the profit. Profit is the goal. Okay, so their profit is their perspective is the profit. So their goal is profit. Okay, so let's start with the shareholder perspective. So this is a traditional view of business. Okay, so I think you have agree with me. So normally previously, so we are mainly focused on profit. Okay, so according to this view, so the only responsibility of business is to maximize the profit for its shareholders, the owners. What is the here bonus based interest? It is the profit. Okay. So if you are a manager or CEO of this type of company operating under this type of model, the main focus is to increase the company share price, reduce cost, improving profit margins, and delivering high returns investment to those who own shares in the company. Likewise. Okay. So, but here there is a problem. Why? What is the problem here? If the main focus is profit, when profit becomes only goal, ethical concerns can get ignored. Okay, if we are mainly focused on the profit, ethical can get ignored. හරිද ළමයි? අපි සල්ලි පස්සෙම අපි මොකක් හරි වැඩක් කරගෙන යනවා නම් අපිට ethical පැත්ත අපේ මිස් වෙලා යනවා. හරිද? ethical background එක අපි අමතක කරනවා. හරිද? අපි සල්ලි මොහ යනවා. හරිද? උදාහරණයක් විදිහට කඩයක් කරගෙන යනවා නම් ඒ කඩේට මුදලාලි දැන් මුලින් හොඳට වැඩ කරගෙන ඊට ප්‍රොෆිට් එක වැඩි වෙන්න එයා වැඩිපුර ප්‍රොෆිට් එකක් ගන්න try කරනවා. හරිද? ඒතකොට සමහර වෙලාවට එක්ස්පයර්ස් බඩු දෙන්න පුළුවන්, එක්ස්පයර් වුණු බඩු දෙන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? අඩුවට බඩු කිරලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? අන්එතිකල් වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? නිවාඩු දවසටත් පොය දවස් වලටත් වැඩ දා ගන්නවා. කඩේ හරිනවා. Likewise, so those things can be happen. Okay, so ethical concern can get ignored in these type of scenario. Okay, so when it's come to the business background, like think about there is a factory, uh, so that is start cutting corners on safety to save money. Okay, so not because they want to harm workers, but because they are trying to show higher profit to the shareholders. Okay, so they need to show the profit to shareholders. From a shareholder view, so this might look a smart financial move, but ethically, so it's a questionable, no? एक प्रश्न. So your risk lies to protect dividends. Okay. So this is a kind of thinking that led to many corporate scandals, like Enron. I have explained you, and Lehman Brothers, and even 2008 financial crisis. I have explained these things. And when it's from the stakeholder perspective, so in here, main thing is broader responsibility. Okay, in the previous scenario, that means shareholder perspective is mainly focused on the profit. But when it's come to the stakeholder perspective, so the main concept is broader responsibility, broader responsibility. Okay, so why I say it like that? The stakeholder perspective says the business has responsibilities not just to shareholders. Okay, only shareholders not an but we have a lot of people. The person, that means everyone who affected for the business and its decision. So who are these stakeholders? Okay, you know, in here also mentioned employees, sometimes customers, suppliers, local communities, environment, government, and even competitors in some cases likewise. So under this model, business leaders normally asking, how will these decisions affect all these people? Not only for the shareholders, how this decision affect for the all these parties. Okay, so this leads to more balance and also ethical choices because you are not just chasing profit. So you are thinking about fairness and also sustainability and long-term trust of the stakeholders of the company. Clear? Are you okay with that? So think about this, what we have in the shareholder focus. The managers might say, let's close it. It saves money. But the stakeholder focus, so they might ask, what about 500 employees and their families? And can we find alternative plan? And at least um, uh, that may offer compensation of and support if the company shut down of a factory. Okay. ඉතින් කම්පැනියක් ප්ලෑන් කරනවා කම්පැනියේ ෆැක්ටරිය ෂට් ඩවුන් කරන්න. හරිද? එහෙම නම් ෂෙයා හෝල්ඩර් මොකද කරන්නේ? එයාලා හිතනවා මේක වහලා දාමු. ඒක අපිට වාසි. අපිට සල්ලි තුරනවා. හරිද? බට් ස්ටේක් හෝල්ඩර් මොකද්ද හිතන්නේ? මේකෙන් එන රිස්ක් එක මොකද්ද? සහ මේක කාටද ඇෆෙක්ට් වෙන්නේ? හරිද? එම්ප්ලොයිස් ලගේ කී දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවද? එයාලගේ ෆැමිලිස් වල තත්ත්වය මොකද්ද? හරිද? එයාලට අපිට ඕල්ටර්නේටිව් ප්ලෑන් එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්ද? වන්දියක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්ද? වෙන මොන හරි අපිට සපෝට් එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්ද? So that is coming under the stakeholder focus. Okay? That is the main thing. So now it's coming to the what is ethical behavior? What do you mean by this ethical behavior? In many situations, situations line between right and wrong are blurred. Such situations can lead to ethical dilemmas. When faced ethical dilemma, it's important to consider outcome of the decisions making process. One way of dealing with ethical dilemma is by using the 4-way to evaluate decision. So this test involve asking 4 questions. Okay. මොකද්ද ethical behavior කියලා කියන්නේ? Okay, so by answering these type of 4 questions, so you can identify, is my decision is truthful one? Is my decision fair to everyone affected? Will it build goodwill for the organization? Is the decisions beneficial to all parties who have a vested interest in the outcome? Okay. What is this ethical dilemma? Huh? In ethical dilemma is situation where there is no clear right answer. හරිද? මේකට answer එකක් නැහැ. So you have to choose between two values. Huh? That seems to be sometimes conflict. Okay. So I will give some examples. So think about you are a manager. Okay, you are a manager in a company, and one of your top performing employee has broken a company policy. හරිද? හිතන්න හොඳට වැඩ කරන employee කෙනෙක් company එකේ මොකක් හරි policy එකක් හදලා. හරිද? So now maybe they took a few personal benefit from a supplier. හිතන්න උදාහරණයක් විදිහට supplier කෙනෙක්ගේ මොකක් හරි personal benefit එකක් අරගෙන. So now you are in a stuck. Okay, දැන් වා හිර වෙලා ඉන්නවා. Now you are in stuck. So do you report them? Do you report them? Which could cost you a great team member and maybe damage the team's morale. හරිද? එහෙම කරොත් මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ? ඔයාගේ ටීම් එකේ ඉන්න හොඳ member කෙනෙක් අපිට අයින් වෙන්න යන්න පුළුවන්. Or do you stay silent? Silent හිටියොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? Because they bring in a big profits. So both choices have consequences. This is an ethical dilemma. හරිද? දැන් අපිට හිතන්න බෑ මොකද්ද මෙතනදී මම කරන්න ඕනේ. මම මේක report කරනවද? එහෙම නැත්නම් මම මෙතන silent වෙ ඉන්නවද? Likewise. Okay. So in these type of scenarios, so you have to ask these 4 questions from yourself. Okay. The first question is what? Huh? So you are asking, is my decision is a truthful one? Is my decision is a truthful one? Ask yourself, am I being honest with myself and others? If you have to hide your decision, so twist the fact, that's a red flag. Okay, if as an example, think about you are filling out an expense claim and tempered to include few personal items. So it's not a truthful. It's probably not ethical. Okay. Likewise. Okay. The second question is my decision fair to everyone affected? මගේ decision එකෙන් හැමෝටම affect වෙනවද? So fairness is big part of the ethics. හරිද? fairness කියන එක ethics වල තියෙන ලොකු part එකක්. Okay. So would this decision treat all stakeholder equally? මේක stakeholder හැමෝටම බලපාන දෙයක්ද? Is anyone being taken advantage of this decision? Okay. So likewise. Think about as an example, if you are awarding contract to a friend's company, even though another supply is clearly better, so is that fair to other bidders and also to the company? Okay, so you can think so that it treats stakeholder equality. Okay, then third question is, will it build goodwill for the organization? මම ගන්න decision එකේ company එකට goodwill එක improve වෙනවද, build වෙනවද? So you have to think beyond the decision. What kind of reputation will it create? Okay, what type of reputation it will create? Okay, so will it make people trust the organization more or damage its image? Likewise. So as an example, If your company tries to cover up mistake, it might avoid blame today, but lose public trust in long run. මොකක් හරි mistake එකක් cover කරගන්න පුළුවන් අපිට short term. අද cover කරගෙන හැබැයි ඒකට impact එක trust එක long trust එක lost වෙන එක long run. Okay. So good ethical behavior build good will. Okay. Good ethical behavior, if you have behave in ethical way, so it build goodwill to the organization. Nice goodwill. That means people respect and support organization. They can trust likewise. Okay. The final question is, so is it beneficial to all parties who have vested interest? Huh? So this is about long-term win-win outcomes. Okay. So will this decision positively impact everyone involved? So like employees, customers, partners, and also communities likewise. So think about just an example. If a company decides to lay off workers without notice or compensation just to boost profit, the shareholders might benefit, but the employees clearly won't. Okay. The better approach might to restructure carefully, offer some retaining and help people transition so all parties feel respected. Okay. So these are the things you have to identify for these four questions, the power of these four questions. Huh? So it's normally simple and also it's practical and it's easy to apply in real life scenarios as well. Okay. So if you are a student now, you are a undergraduates now. So you are undergraduates and also sometimes maybe a manager or a business owner. Whenever you are unsure about your decisions, just pause and ask. Is it true? Is it fair? Will it build goodwill? And is it beneficial to all? Likewise. So as a result of that, you will receive an answer, perfect answer, but it will definitely give you a clarity and perspective. Okay. So that is the way so you can identify a good ethical behavior. Clear? Hope you can identify what I have said regarding how to identify a good ethical behavior. Okay. Okay. Now we are moving to the next slide. So who is responsible for creating ethics in an organization? Organization එක ethics කියන එක create කරන්න responsible කවුද? A company's managers play an important role in establishing its ethical tone. If managers behave as if the online thing that matters is profit, employees are likely to act in a like manner. Companies leaders are responsible for setting standard for what is and is not acceptable employees' behavior. It is vital for managers to play an active role in creating a working environment where employees are encouraged and rewarded for acting in an ethical manner. What is the meaning of this paragraph? So you can see mainly what? Who is actually responsible? Who is actually responsible for creating and maintain ethical behavior inside an organization? කවුද මේක ක්‍රියේට් කරන්න responsible organization එක? දැන් උදාහරණයක් අපි කැම්පස් කරන කැම්පස් එකේ කවුද මේ ethical behavior එක ක්‍රියේට් කරන්න responsible? Likewise. Some people can say, is it a work of HR department job? HR के වැඩක්ද? Huh? And also it can be a job of legal division of the company. Huh? But in reality, the biggest influence of the ethical culture of a company comes from one place. What is the place? As you understanding what you are thinking. කොතනින්ද organization එකේ මේ ethical background එක create කරන්න ඕනේ? කවුද ඒකට responsible වෙන්න ඕනේ? Can you give some answers? What is the place? It should need to start. It should start from the leaders. Okay, leaders of the company, and also normally we are saying especially the managers. Okay, manager level again patanga. Okay, the leadership sets the ethical tone. Okay, so there's a popular saying in management. So if you remember, if you are learn this thing in a management subject, the tone at the top determines the behavior at the bottom. Okay, the tone at the top determines the behavior at the bottom. උඩ කට්ටිය වැඩ කරන tone එක අනුව තමයි පහළ කට්ටියගේ behavior එක decide වෙන්නේ. Okay, in our country as well. උඩ කට්ටිය වැඩ කරන විදිහ තමයි රටේ අනිත් අය වැඩ කරගන්නේ. Okay, if companies manager act as if the only thing that matters is profit, the employees will begin to think, well, I guess that's what I should focus on too. Results over rules. Okay, this can be dangerous. Huh? So let me give you an simple example. So imagine, so a sales manager who keeps saying to the team, I don't care how you hit your monthly targets. I don't care how you hit your monthly target. Huh? Just hit it. Likewise, now if the message repeated again and again, what do you think happens? Employees might start lying to customers. Huh? So they are making false promises. Huh? So even faking numbers. Huh? All just to survive and succeed that culture. Okay, so yes, the managers directly shape the ethical behavior of their teams. හරිද? දැන් උදාහරණයක් ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් කම්පැනිස් වල බලන්න දැන් අපිට ඇවිල්ලා කොච්චර මේවා තියෙනවා කියනවාද? හරිද? සමහරට එහෙම නොත් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඕකේ අපි හැබැයි ඇග්‍රීමන්ට් කරන දවසට ඇග්‍රීමන්ට් එක සයින් කරන දවසට ඒ ඩොකියුමන්ට් එක කියවන්නේ නැහැ. හරිද? අපි ඇග්‍රී වෙන්නේ what are the conditions and benefits we have already agreed in that documents. හරිද? අර යාළගේ ටාගට් එක කවර් කරන්න ඒ වගේ යාළා ඒ වගේ දේවල් කියනවා. හරිද? So these are not ethical things. So the leadership, හරිද? So the leadership is directly shape the ethical behavior of their teams and the companies. Okay, so managers as the role models. Okay, so these are the people who need to take the leadership. Okay, now you can see there are several key factors that influence ethical behavior within a company. Okay, so let's go through them one by one with some practical examples. Okay, so first one is corporate culture. So this is the biggest influencer. The culture is like the company's personality. Okay, is the company open, transparent, and supportive? So, or is it secretive, competitive, and cutthroat? Likewise, so culture affect how people behave. Okay, even if the rules are written clearly, people usually follow as they people usually follow the unwritten culture. Okay, as an example, if the culture tolerate bribery to win deals, even honest employees might feel persuade to do the same to survive. කල්චර් එකෙන් කියනවා නම් මෙන්න මේ වගේ වංචා කරන්න ඕනේ මේක රැඳිලා ඉන්නේ කියලා. එහෙම වුණොත් අර අවංකව ඉන්න සේවකයාත් ඒ වගේ දේවල් වලට normally යොමු වෙනවා. එයාට survive වෙන්න ඒ organization එක ඇතුලේ. Okay. The existence and application of written code of ethics. Okay, written code of ethics. If we have a clear code of ethics, help to guide the behavior, but just having one is not enough. It needs to be well communicated and easy to understand and actually apply. ලියලා තිබ්බට හරියන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක හරියට කමියුනිකේට් කරන්න ඕනේ අදාළ සේවකයන්ට එම්ප්ලොයිස්ලාට and also it should be easily understand. සමහර වෙලාවට තියෙනවා අපිට තේරුම් ගන්නත් බෑ. ethically හැසිරෙන්න කලින් ethically හැසිරෙන්න ඕන විදිය තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් simple විදියට ඒක තියෙන්න ඕන. හා ඒ වගේම මේක actually apply කරන්න පුළුවන් තත්ත්වයක තියෙන්න ඕන. හරිද? එහෙම නැත්නම් ඒක තේරුමකුත් නැහැ. Likewise. The third one is formal and informal policies and rules. Sorry. Formal and informal policies and rules. What are the formal and informal policies and rules? The formal rules are in HR manuals and SOPs. Informal rules are more like this is how things are really done here, and both type of influence behave likewise. So an example, formally, overtime is voluntary. Overtime is voluntary. So informally, employees may expected to stay late to look committed. So that pressure affect the ethical boundaries. Here. So when it comes to the norms and acceptable behavior, norms and acceptable behavior. This is what people in the company generally consider normal, even it's not right. As an example, think about a company claiming personal expenses under business reimbursement might be normal. හරිද? කාගේ හරි personal ඉතින් transport කියලා එකක් claim කරගන්නවා business එකේ වැඩකට ගියා කියලා. But it's unethical. Okay. So the financial reward system. What is the financial reward system? So this is a huge factor. People behave based on what they have rewarded for. Think about if an employees are only rewarded for hitting the sales target, so they might cut ethical corner to get results. එතකොට ethically වැඩ කරන්නේ කොහොම හරි target එක cover කරන්න තමයි වැඩ කරගෙන යන්නේ. Okay. Likewise, the system for recognizing accomplishment. The system for recognizing accomplishment. So are the ethical behaviors recognized? Are ethical behaviors recognized? So do employees get praised for doing the right thing, even if it is means lower results, or are only high performers celebrated, regardless of how they achieve it? So companies that celebrate ethics tend to build stronger value across the board. Okay? මේ වගේ දේවල් recognize කරගන්න ඕනේ. හරිද? හොඳ දේවල් identify කරගෙන එයාලට පොඩි treat එකක් දීලා එයාලට පොඩි reward එකක් දීලා ඒ වගේ දේවල් company එකේ strong කරගන්න ඕනේ, build කරගන්න ඕනේ. Next one is company's attitude towards employees. So how a company treats its employees, that means its people, reflect the core values. Are employees respected? Is feedback encouraged? And if there are any concerns to taken seriously? Likewise, how employees are selected for promotions? කොහොමද promotion වලට employees select කරගන්නේ? This is another powerful signal. If only the most aggressive, result-driven employees get promoted, so others will follow that behavior, even if it is mean being unethical. Okay. එහෙම වීඩියෝ aggressive ඉන්න කෙනෙක් result මතම ඉන්න කෙනෙක් promoted වුණොත් අනිත් අය හිතන්නේ ඒ විදිහට අපි කරගෙන යන්න ඕනේ කියලා. But if promotions are based on integrity, teamwork, and ethics, so you are sending the message. So we value how you have success, not just you have succeed. Okay. How values you have succeed, and not just you have succeed. හරිද? ඔයාගේ මොනවද ඔයා values success කරන් තියෙන්නේ? ඒවත් තමයි ඔයාගේ promotion එක හම්බුනේ. And the hiring practices. Hiring practices mean, so from the very beginning, how a company hires, say, a lot about its ethics. Okay, if you are hiring in the process, they are think about how the companies are think about their hiring employees. Okay, are hiring decisions based on the fairness, or is diversity respected? Likewise, bad hires can poison ethical cultures. Okay, while good hiring will sit. හරි කෙනෙක් අපි ගන්න අපි කොහොමද බලන්නේ? අපි ethics යන වැඩිපුර consider කරනවාද? The application of legal behavior. Application of legal behavior. So think about if a company has a habit of blending laws or looking for loopholes, normally employees will assume that the breaking law is acceptable too. මොකක් හරි ඉතියා කරන එක හැල කම්පැනි එකේ ප්‍රැක්ටිස් එකක් නම් ඒතර එම්ප්ලොයිස්ලාට හිතන්න පුළුවන් ඒක acceptable දෙයක් කියලා. Ethics and law are not same, but they do overlap. Okay, so likewise, so degree to which professional is emphasized. So is in here normally we are saying the professionalism help create tone of responsibility and accountability. So both of which are essential to ethics. Next one is Next one is the company's decision-making processes. So normally ethical companies, so they have to encourage consultation and openness in decision-making. So they have to be open. Do the people have to have a say, a consent discuss before the major changes? So they have discussed. Maybe if decision-making is always top to down and secretive, it can lead to unethical consequences because only few voices are heard. Okay, and the final thing is behaviors and attitudes of the organization's leaders. In here, mainly we are focused on leaders set the tone. Okay, so their attitude. I told you in the previous, leaders should be need to cultivate the culture of these type of ethical background, the organization. So their attitude and their behaviors and their reactions are watched closely. අපේ ලීඩර් කෙනෙක් අපේ බොස් වැඩ කරන විදිහ අපි ක්ලියර්ලි බලන් ඉන්නවා. එයාගේ කල්චර් කොහොමද? එයාගේ ඇටිටියුඩ් කොහොමද? එයාගේ බිහේවියර් කොහොමද? එයාගේ රියැක්ෂන් එක කොහොමද? ප්‍රශ්නයක් වුණාම මේ අපි හැමදේම අපි capture කරගන්නවා as employees. Okay, think about if a CEO ignores unethical behaviors to protect profits, everyone else gets the message. Okay, that means results matters more than values. අප results වැදගත් වෙනවා values වලට වඩා. Okay, එහෙම තමයි employees ලාට මේ පණිවිඩය යන්නේ. Okay, but if they call out unethical acts, even if it is uncomfortable, so they inspire a culture of integrity. Okay, so those are the main factors impacting the organization's ethics. So you can remember 3 to 4 ethical factors. Normally these things can be tested in your exams as well. Okay. Okay, I think I am reading to 1.5 hours. So I'll give an short break and we will discuss after that break. Okay, if you haven't take your breakfast, you can take it now. Okay, so we'll meet in 10:20. Okay. Okay, we will start here. Now we have discussed the 7 principles of admirable business ethics. So there are 7 principles. The first one is be trustful. Be trustful. The second one is the keep an open mind. You have to keep an open mind. Okay, so you have to be open-minded. Okay, so the next thing is meet obligations. Meet obligations. What is the meaning of that? Meet obligations. Okay, we'll discuss one by one. Have clear documents. Have clear documents and become community involved, maintain accounting control, and finally be respectful. Okay, so we'll see one by one. So what are the meaning of these 7 principles? Okay, be trustful. What is the meaning of this be trustful? So this is the foundation of all business ethics. Trustfulness. Okay, the trust is earned over time. Okay, විශ්වාසය කියලාම එක දවසින් ගන්න බෑ. It's earned during over time by being consistent, honest, and transparent to the your colleagues, your workers, your leaders likewise. Okay, think about if a company promises 3-day delivery but keeps delaying and giving excuses and customer lost trust. Okay, so but if it's upfront about possible delays and offer solution, trust grows. හරිද? දැන් ඉතින් දවස් 3කින් ඩිලිවර් කරනවා කියලා කියනවනම් ඒ දවස් 3 ඩිලිවර් කරන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් customers lost trust. Okay? හැබැයි එහෙම මොන හරි possible reason එකක් නම් එහෙම නිතරම වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් එහෙම මොකක් හරි immediate මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නම් ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Clear? Then keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. What is the meaning of this keep an open mind? So in here being ethical doesn't mean being regret. Sometimes we need to listen to others. Okay? හරිද? අපි කියන දේම නෙමෙයි. So you have to listen to the others. So understand different perspectives. So you have to understand different perspective and consider some type of alternatives. Okay? Especially in the decision making. Okay? So likewise. Then meet obligations. So meet obligations. So what is the meaning of this meet obligations? So this is a principle about keeping promises. Okay, to customers, sometimes to the employees, partners, or even the society as well. Okay, if you have keeping promises. Okay, so as example, think about if you are paying suppliers on time. So delivering a project when agreed. Okay, upholding payment in employment contracts. So these are all ethical obligations. Okay, suppliers la payment කරන්න ඕන වෙලාවට. හරිද? Deliver project when agreed. Project අදාළ වෙලාවට ඉවර කරන්න ඕනේ. Upholding employee contracts likewise. Okay, so those are some obligations. So what you have promised for the customers, employees, partners, society likewise. Okay, and also have clear documents. The documentation part is very much important. In today's government also, they are collecting some documents. Okay. Likewise. So transparency in documentation is key. Okay. So whether it's policies, whether it's contract, whether it's financial records or reports, anything. Okay. Hiding unfavorable terms in fine print of contract may be illegal. Okay. But it's not ethical. Okay. So honest and clear documentation protects both the business and the people it deals with it. හරිද? අවංකව සහ ඒ clear documentation part එකක් තියෙනවා නම් business එක සහ ඒ අදාළ සේවකයෝ අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම protect වෙනවා. The next thing is fifth one is become community involved. Become community involved. So ethical businesses go beyond profit. Okay, so that's the thing. You know these things. Okay. So ethical businesses go beyond profit. Profit එකට එහා යනවා. Okay. So they contribute to the well-being of the community. They operate in. So likewise. Okay. So think about as an example, supporting local education programs. ඉස්කෝලවලට මොන හරි ගිහින් අපි donation එකක් දෙනවා. And also sponsoring some environmental cleanups. The companies setting or environment cleanups वलට sponsor කරනවා. Offering internship for students. හරිද? දැන් ඔයාලා fourth year third year internship යනකොට ඒවට අදාළ opportunities දෙනවා companies වලින්. So it's a good thing, well-being for the community. So when companies give back, it builds goodwill and positive reputation. අපි මේ වගේ ගානකට අපේ internship දීලා තියෙනවා. හරිද? මේ වගේ ගානකට අපි sponsorship දීලා තියෙනවා for the environmental cleanups. Okay, මේ වගේ education programs වල අපි donate කරලා තියෙනවා. Likewise. Okay. The next thing is maintain accounting control. So this is just not just for financial department. So every department has a role in financial integrity. Okay, as an example, avoiding false billing. දැන් නම් හරි වැරදි bill එකක් හරි දාලා ඒ අදාළ ගාන ගන්නවනේ. And also inflating revenue, hiding some losses. එහෙනම් සමහරට stock එක අඩු වෙලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන් කවුරු හරි අරන් ගිහලා. ඒතකොට ඒ වගේ දේවල් hide කරනවා. So these are actually only the red flags in the forensic accounting. So these are coming under red flags. Okay. So in here, when it's come to maintaining accounting controls, so strong accounting controls protect the companies from fraud, mismanagement, and also legal issues as well. Okay. So be respectful. The final one is be respectful. Okay. Respect කරන්න හැමෝටම. The respect for people and also respect for time and respect for effort, ideas, diversity, and differences. So you have to be respect. So normally ethical businesses treat everyone with dignity. Okay, so the ethical businesses, so they are treating everyone with dignity, regardless of the position. Okay, whether it's a customer complaint or feedback from a cleaner, so it's heard and value. Okay, so respect, building inclusive and trustworthy culture. Okay, respect කියන එක, so it will create, it will build inclusive and trustworthy culture in your organization. Clear? So when it's come to overview of issues in business ethics, overview of issues in business ethics, the corporate social responsibility, CSR, fiduciary responsibility, stakeholder concept, and stakeholder concept and this shareholder concept, and industrial espionage. So what are the meaning of this overview of issues in business ethics? So what type of issues? So there are some key issues. So we'll see one by one. So this slide, so you can see it's highlight. There are major 4 topics we need to focus on. First one is corporate social responsibility. So you all know the keyword is CSR. Okay. CSR, what is the CSR? CSR is about how companies go beyond just making profit. Profit එකට එහා ගිහිල්ලා මොනවද යාලා කරන්නේ? Okay, to help for the society and the environment. Okay, so when it comes to CSR, so there are three concepts: economic, environment, and society. Okay, not only for the profit. So companies have responsibility to minimize some environmental damage, treat workers fairly, support their communities, and also they have to act as socially responsible way. Likewise, so these are coming under the CSR. Okay, so when it comes to fiduciary responsibility, so this is a fancy way of saying, okay, managers and directors have legal and ethical duty to act in the best interest of the companies and its shareholders. Okay, So managers and directors have a legal and ethical duty. එයාලා legally ඒ වගේම ethically duty එකක් තියෙනවා to act as the best interest of the companies and its shareholders. company එකට ඒ වගේම shareholders ලට කරන්න පුළුවන් උපරිම සේවය යාලා කරන්න ඕන. So they must manage the company's asset responsibility and avoid conflict of interest. Okay, so they have to manage the company's asset because the investors are investing in the company. Okay, then it's come the stakeholder concept and the shareholder concept. So we talked about this before. So it's a debate between focusing on only on shareholders, that means the profits. So considering all stakeholders like employees, customers, community, suppliers, likewise. So normally ethical companies, what they need to do, what they tend to embrace, the stakeholder concept is more balanced. Okay, stakeholder concept එක තමයි ළමයි more balanced වෙන්නේ rather than the shareholder concept. Okay, and industrial espionage. So what is the meaning of this industrial espionage? So this refers to spying on competitors to steal trade secret, confidential data, sometimes other proprietary information. So it is illegally, but and also this also it's a highly unethical. Okay, so like stealing trade secret are the competitors lage මොන හරි secret රහස් තියෙනවනේ ඒ වගේම confidential data ගන්න එක others අනිත් අයගේ proprietary information, sensitive data. So ඒ වගේ දේවල් refer කරන එක, so it is illegal and also highly unethical. So think about as an example, if a company hacks into the competitor system to find out their new product design. So this is coming under industrial espionage. Okay, competitors lagi system එක log කරලා ඒක hack කරලා එයාලගේ අලුත් product මොනවාද, එයාලගේ අලුත් strategies මොනවාද, එයාලගේ අලුත් design මොනවාද, ඒ වගේ දේවල් කරන එක it is not a good thing. It's not a legal thing. And also it's a highly unethical. Okay, so those are the some overviews of issues in business ethics. Okay, CSR, address responsibility, stakeholder concept and shareholder concept, and industrial espionage. Okay, then general business ethics. Generally, we are seeing some business ethics, ethics of human resource management, ethics in sales and marketing, ethics in production, and ethics in intellectual property and knowledge and skills. Okay. When it's come to the these areas, so in here we'll talk about why business ethics are really matters, not just in theory, but in everyday life and business success. Okay. So when it's come to the ethics of human resource management, මොන වගේ දේවල්ද human resource management වලට අපි කතා කරන්නේ, and also ethics in sales and marketing, and ethics in production, ethics of intellectual property and knowledge and skills. So these things should have proper idea. human resource ගත්තට පස්සේ HR පැත්තේ මොනවාද අපි business එකේ තියෙන්න පුළුවන් general ethics. sales and marketing ගත්තොත් මොන වගේ දේවල්, ethics of production process එක ගත්තොත් මොන වගේ දේවල්ද අපි consider කරන්න ඕනේ. හරි, so those things should be considered. Okay, and also in the intellectual property, හරිද, person කෙනෙක්ගේ data වලට අපි access කරන්න මොනවාද තියෙන්න පුළුවන් ethics. හරිද, හරි, මේ වගේ දේවල් අපි consider කරන්න ඕනේ. Okay, so I will quickly move into the importance of business ethics. So you can see why these type of ethics are important. So this type of questions can be asked in your exam. So why these type of ethics are important for the businesses? So I am we are not given directly for the exam. So you, by referring to some case study, so we have practiced one case study in last week. So ඒකේ තියෙන case studies ethics අරගෙන ඇයි මේ වගේ ethics company එකට important වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So you can see some draft ideas here. Importance of business ethics. Okay. So public expect businesses to exhibit high level of ethical performance and social responsibility. Okay, what is the meaning of that? The public expectation. The public, so normally we are saying customers, communities, government, likewise. So they are expecting businesses to act ethically and responsibly. Okay. So normally people want to buy from companies they can trust. Okay. යාළ විශ්වාසයෙන් වලින් තමයි යාළ මෙතන දී ගන්නේ. Okay. So companies that care about more than just profit. Profit එකට වඩා company එකේ ඉන්න සේවය ගැන හිතන්න public expectation. For an example, think about big brand like Dilma, Brandix in Sri Lanka. So they are admired because they show their care about society and environment, not just sales. Sales ගැන විතරක් නෙමෙයි. Okay, so if a business behave unethically, the public will quickly lose trust. Okay, and just uh, it mainly impact our sales as well, and also reputation and long-term survival likewise. Public expectation is very much important. The second one is encouraging encouraging businesses, firms, and their employees to behave ethically is to prevent harm society. That means preventing harm to society. So as an organization, so they have to encourage ethical behavior is all about preventing harm. They have to encourage. Okay. That means unethical business practices can cause serious problems. So what type of problems? So sometimes pollution and also exploitation of workers, and sometimes fraud, sometimes unsafe products likewise. So when businesses act unethically, when businesses act ethically, so they protect society from these harms. Okay. So that's coming under the second one. The third one is promoting ethical behaviors is to protect business from abuse by unethical employees or ethical competitors. What is the meaning of this one? So normally protecting business from abuse. Okay, so ethics like ethics normally it's a shield of business themselves. හරිද? ඒක නිකන් shield එකක් වගේ. හරිද? Business එක protect කරන. So it help protect companies from dishonest employees who might steal or cheat, and also unethical competitors who might use unfair tactics. Likewise, so it is a shield from this type of people. Okay. Think about as an example. A company, so they have a strong ethical standard and also sometimes also the controls. Okay, so as a result of that, so normally it will minimize the vulnerable to fraud or corruption internally. එම strong ethical standards are controls තියෙනවා නම් company ඒ වගේ දේවල් තියෙන නිසා company fraud එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, ඒ වගේම corruption එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් තියෙන හැකියාව internally අඩු වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Okay, that's the meaning of the protecting businesses from abuse. And final one is high ethical performance also protect the individuals who work in businesses. So normally protecting individuals in businesses. Okay. So finally, so high ethical standards normally also protect the people who work inside businesses. Okay. So if a company tolerates unethical behavior, so employees may feel pressure to compromise their values. Okay, they may face unfair treatment or harassment. Yeah, and also this type of this damages moral the productivity. Likewise, so if we have ethical workplace, so it creates safe, and also it creates respectful, and also it creates fair environments to the employees. Okay, so that's the meaning of protecting individuals in businesses. Okay. Some religious views on business ethics. So කොහොමද සාමාන්‍ය අර කියනවා ආගම අනුව කොහොමද business ethics කියන එක identify කරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. So there is a Swami Vivekanand views on ethics. Okay, sometimes some you have I know this person. Okay, so in here he has mentioned. So what? So first read this one. So Swami Vivekananda has it's a Indian philosopher. Okay, so he's a Indian philosopher and he's a leader who has deeply influenced the Indian thoughts and values. Okay, so in here he believe the basis of Indian subjectivity. Okay, normally we are seeing how people understand themselves and the world. He's rooted in the belief in God. Okay. So in here, when it's come the fundamental law of ethics according to Swami Vivekananda, so he has suggested a simple yet profound ethical law. Simple හැබැයි තියෙනවා පොඩි rational එක. So in here he has mentioned don't injure others. Okay, so you can see here the wording says it, don't injure others, love everyone as your own self. The universe is one. So this is the thing they have that he has mentioned. What is the meaning of this sentence? Don't injure others. So when it's come the business perspective, in business, this means avoid harm. Sometimes can be customers, sometimes can be employees, sometimes can be competitors, sometimes can be community likewise. For example, don't sell harmful product or exploit workers. Okay. So in here, the first statement, don't injure others, this means avoid harms. Okay. Avoid harm. Okay. So in the second statement, he has mentioned love everyone as your own self. Love everyone as your own self. ඔයාගේම කෙනෙක් වගේ හැමෝටම ආදරය කරා. Okay. හරිද? What is the meaning of this one? So in here, so you have to treat others with the same care and respect as you would want to yourself. ගෙම ළඟින් කෙනට සලකනවා වගේ ට්‍රීට් කරනවා වගේ අනිත් හැමෝටම සලකන්න. So this promote normally the fairness and also the normally we are saying empathy and also kindness in business dealings. Okay. So you have to love everyone as your own self. Okay. So this is just to take an idea. So I'm not asking what is the Swami Vivekananda views on the ethics. Okay. So you have to identify what type of things should be there. Okay. The final thing is, the final statement is what? The universe is one. The universe is one. So what is the meaning of this one? This reminds us that we all are connected. Okay, so we all have connected. So our actions affect not just ourselves but whole world. අපි ගන්න ඇක්ෂන් එකක් ළමයි අපිටම විතරක් නෙවෙයි අපේ කම්පැනි විතරක් නෙමෙයි මුළු ලෝකෙටම ඒ හැමදේම බලපාන. Okay, so there's a meaning of this. The universe is one because we are all connected in the world. හරිද? මොකක් හරි සම්බන්ධයක් තියෙනවා. හරිද? So in the ethical business mean now thinking globally and inclusive. Okay, respecting all people and also the nature. Okay, so that's the way he has identified. Okay, now you can see there is another statement. In order to win the game, so you need to plan. Okay, අපිට plan එකක් තියෙන්න ඕන game එකක් දිනන්න. To plan information is imperative. Get it through legal and ethical means. In life and business, ethical standard must be set. So ethical standard must be set. Ethical standard must be met. Okay, හදලා විතරක් කරන්නේ ඒවා achieve කරන්නත් ඕනේ. Okay, so in here planning is essential to win. plan think about any big goal you have. So whether it's winning a game, so running a successful business, or even just passing an exam. Okay, so you can't succeed without a plan. ඔය exam එක pass වෙන target කරනවාට තියෙනවා plan එකක්. හරිද? මේ semester එක ඉවර වෙනකොට මම results මේ subject වල මොකක්ද ගන්න result එක. එහෙම ගන්න නම් ඔයා මොකක්ද කරන්න ඕන? හරිද? past papers ටිකක් ගන්නවා, recordings ටික බලනවා, lectures වල short note ටිකක් ගහ ගන්නවා, ඒවට අදාළ answers කියනවා, assignments ටික හරියට කරනවා. හරිද? So these things you should need to do. So this is the plan. මොන කාලෙද කරන්න. So this is only one subject. So you have 2, 3 subjects in your this semester. Likewise. Okay. So you should have proper plan here. Okay. And in here get information through legal and ethical manners. What is the meaning of this one? Huh? So when you get the information, so whether it's for a business deal, a project, or even a personal decision, so you must go, you must do it legally and ethically. Okay, don't cheat, don't steal, and don't spy to get information. Okay, don't spread false rumors. Huh? Don't manipulate data. Huh? So these type of unethical shortcuts, if you are using these type of unethical shortcuts, it might seem like a quick win. හරිද? ඒ මොනොත් සමහර ටක් ගාලා දින්න වගේ පෙනෙයි. profit එක වැඩි වෙයි. හරිද? But it's a risky, and also but it's a damage your integrity. It will damage your integrity. Okay? So these things can be happen. Next thing is set and meet the ethical standards. Okay? So in here, ethical standard must be set, and also ethical standard must be met. Okay, this is not enough just to say we want to be ethical. හරිද? අපි ethical වෙන්න ඕනි කියලා කියලා වැඩක් නැහැ. මෙතනම board ගහලා මෙතන please be patient. Likewise මේ විදිහට මෙහෙම විදිහට මේ විදිහට මේ විදිහට මේ වගේ දේවල් කරන්න කියලා හොඳ විදිහට board ගහලා අපි කිව්වට වැඩක් නැහැ. So you need to define what ethical behavior means. Clearly for yourself and your organization, and also you have to follow through consistently. හරි ඔන්න පළවෙනි දවසේ කළා ඊළඟ දවසේ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. පළවෙනි සතිය කරනවා ඊළඟ සතිය වෙන්නේ නැහැ. පළවෙනි මාසේ කරනවා එතනින් පස්සේ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So also you have, if you have set these type of ethical standard, so you have to be met. You have to meet these type of targets. Okay. Okay. So in here, when it's come to the conclusion, so I have reading these things in quickly. We have 1 hour. Okay, I will give you another case study to do the remaining hour. So when it's come to the conclusion, so from today I am completing the ethics part, and then from the next week, you have the online quiz at the night, and that means 9:30 to 10:30. That means ඊළඟ සතියේ ඉරිදා 9:00 ඉඳන් 10:00 ලාට quiz එක කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතකොට next week එකේ lecture එක පටන් ගන්නවා risk management. The risk management part එක ගොඩක් වෙලාට හිමාංශය තමයි කරගෙන යන්නේ. remaining lectures ටික. එතකොට අදින් මම මගේ sessions ටික ඉවර කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ අපි ගොඩක් වෙලාට හම්බෙන්නේ අපේ presentation වලදී. Okay, group assignment එකේදී presentation වලදී තමයි අපි අවසානට හම්බෙන්නේ. Okay. So එතකොට අපි corporate governance කතා කරා. එතකොට ethics වල අදින් අපි ethics part ඉවර කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ risk management next week Sunday ඉඳන් පටන් ගන්නවා. එතකොට ඔයාලගේ online quiz එකට අපි main focus කරන corporate governance. හරිද? එතකොට remaining සති මම 3ක් දුන්නා. සති 3ම ඇති. එතකොට ඔයාලට ඒ ටික බලා ගන්න. Okay. Okay, so when it comes the ethics are more important not only in business and business but in all aspect of life, because it is an essential part of foundation on which of a civilized society in build. A business or society that lacks ethical principles is bound to fail sooner or later. So what is the final conclusion we need to take here? So as you are a student, as you are a manager in some day, so you have to be a good ethical person. Ethics are in the foundation of civilization. What is the meaning of that? Ethics are like the invisible glue. ගම් එකක් වගේ. So whole society together. අපේ සමාජයකට තියාගන්න පුළුවන් දෙයක්. Okay. So when people are organization act with honesty and also fairness and also respect, so it trust grows. Okay. So when the trust grows, society and the businesses are growing. Okay. So what happened without ethics? අපිට මේ ethics කියන දේ තිබ්බේ නැත්නම් මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ ළම? So and also think about if the ethics are there, so if you are ignoring and dismissed, huh? So businesses start cutting corners. Huh? People lost their faith in the institution. Huh? And also can be happen corruption, frauds, unfairness become common. Likewise, finally, finally these things that these system collapse. Okay, so no business or society can survive for long without a strong ethical principle. මේ ethics කියන දේ ළමයි organization එක නැත්නම් company එකට කිසිම වෙලාවකට survive වෙන්න බෑ. So these type of statements should be very much important, very much strong. Yeah. So as a final thought, so what we can identify in the today's session, so whether you become a business leader sometimes in a one day, sometimes you may be a professional, sometimes maybe a chartered accountant, sometimes maybe a CEO, chairman of a company, and also sometimes you are a community member. Okay, සමාජයේ ජීවත් වෙන පුද්ගලයෙක් වගේ. Okay, remember that your decisions impact not just for profit or outcomes. හරිද? ඒක පවා ගන්න decision එක profit එකට විතරක් නෙමෙයි, outcomes වලට විතරක් නෙමෙයි. So it impact the health of the society we all live in. හරිද? ඔයා ගන්න decision එකක් ඔයා කරන හැම දෙයක්ම ඒක impact වෙනවා අපේ මුළු සමාජයටම. අපි මේ හැමෝම ජීවත් වෙන. Okay, so by practicing ethics, so you help build a world that is fair and also that is safe and also that is more respectful for everyone. හරිද ළමයි? So ඉස්සලම් පන්සිල් පද පහ රකින්න. Okay, so these are coming under the ethics. හරිද? ප්‍රාණඝාතයෙන් වැළකීම, අනුන්ගේ දේවල් සොරකම් කරන්න එපා, කාමයේ හරියට හැසිරෙන්න, බොරු කියන්න එපා. හරිද? මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය පානය කරන්න යන්න එපා. So these are coming under the ethics and Buddhism. Okay, so in the other religions also there are some ethics. මම හිතනවා අනිත් ආගම්වලත් එහෙම තියෙනවා අනිවාර්යෙන්. Okay, so be a good person, be a good ethical person. එමුණොත් අපිට මේ society එක මේ රට ලෝකේ හරි විදියට respectful, more fair persons are there, more safer place to everyone. Respectful place will create. Okay, so that's the final thing I have to highlight regarding this ethics. Okay, any doubt or any clarification regarding this ethics session what we have covered today? Okay, I will upload the case study. So if you have any clarification or if you have any doubt or any issues regarding the today's session or your quiz or anything assignment, so you can ask me now. So while I am uploading your case study to do. මොනවායි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා ළමයි අහන්න පුළුවන් මම ඔයාලගේ case study එකක් upload කරනවා. So these are some exam based questions. So if you remember, I think only 2 or 3 weeks I have missed this type of case study. I think only 1 or 2. අනිත් හැම දවසකම මම ඔයාලට මොකක් හරි case study එකක් upload කරන්න in the classroom or at the home. හරිද? ඒ නිසා මේ case studies ඒ වටික බලා ගන්න. හරිද? එතකොට මේ විදිය තමයි ඔයාගේ exam එකේ structure එක වෙන්නේ. හරිද? මේ විදිහට තමයි අපි questions දෙන්නේ case base. හරිද? ඒ නිසා ඒ ටික චුට්ටක් බලා ගන්න මොනවායි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා ළමයි අහන්න. මම හිතනවා ගොඩක් අය මේ වගේ කේසස් වලට ආන්සර්ස් ලිව්වා. The classroom over. Yes. Okay, I think you can see this screen of the, yeah, I'm going to upload this document. So this is a case study, ethics in action. So the company called the Novatech Private Limited. So there is a mini case and also there is some scenarios here. And then you have to identify and discuss ethical dilemmas faced Novatech Private Limited. Huh? So how does case reflect tension between short-termism and long-termism ethical strategies? Okay. So I will give you the time to do these things. So I think most of the things we have discussed today. So based on that, you have to answer. Okay. And also I will upload a Dropbox. So you have for 55 minutes. I think that's enough time to upload. Okay. Okay, then if you haven't any clarification, so you can do this exercise. I will upload this case. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I have uploaded it and also I will create a submission Dropbox. So if you want, you can type itself. I will make available online text or file submission both. Okay, done it. So if you have any clarifications, so you can ask. So otherwise you can continue. So now I am ending this, I'm going to end this Teams meeting. So you can upload the answers and complete your task. Huh? So, so we'll meet in the presentations. Huh? So from the next week, the master will take the risk management part. And then another thing, your quiz will be held on 27th, that means next Sunday, 9:30 to 10:30. Okay, so if you're facing any difficulties during the quiz, so you can contact me. Okay, okay, then thank you very much for your participation and have a nice day.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, actually, I was unable to mark the attendance. Could you please again?
okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so you can stay.
Thank you, sir.
I think hope you all have a scan, no?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mark, sir.
Okay.